I'm just gonna start it right now. Actually, since we're already talking about your name, I have to ask you, why is your name RR? I mean, I can understand not having like the perfect name in mind, so you just pick something, but RR, come on, bruh.
You mean on YouTube?
Yeah.
What? That's a funny story. So actually, that's my dad's account, and I've been
Oh.
using that for ages, just for YouTube and Google things, and I never changed it. Just left it like that. My father's name actually starts with RR. That's why he just picked
Okay.
that.
That's probably the
So
default
I
name
don't
he's
know.
got.
It's just a random. It's not really. I never really noticed it.
Yeah, I
But
kind
yeah.
of assumed there had to be some story behind it, because who like willingly wants to name themselves RR?
Yeah,
Arg.
maybe have to change it. I just picked a random black background as his profile. Like what the fuck?
Hey man, I
That's
like the
funny.
minimalistic approach. I like it.
Yeah,
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 simple.
But yeah, so Kingdom 672. I'm gonna from now on we're gonna just go over like a review if we like the chapter or not real quick. So yeah, I'll start. I mean, I like the chapter. Gave some nice exposition, some progression. We know how the like the conquering invasion is gonna go now. It really changes things up from where it was before with Mobile and Toe just sitting idly by, and it could lead to a lot of interesting dynamics and how the states will respond. And I want to see how the states will respond like next chapter, like very soon. But yeah, so plot wise, puts in a very interesting, very different direction, and it leaves a lot of things open ended. We'll see where it goes with that. And I just like the interactions. Kanki really
yeah,
stole the show with the
yeah,
interactions, and
yeah,
Toe showed a little bit more of his character. I'm interested in where that goes, but yeah, Kanki, the interactions, pristine,
yeah.
pristine.
Highlight of this chapter.
Yeah, for
Highlight.
real.
Uh, yeah, can I go or Twally?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
want?
Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, of course. I also like the chapter. Like you said, the interactions were the highlight for me. You rarely see these big generals talk to each other outside the battlefield, and so
Hmm.
it was really nice to get that. Some more character for Thor. I like just how he responded to Faith. Uh, they have not that kind of loyalty like the old 60Gs, but he still trusts them that they will do their job. And yeah, I also like the symbolism with this bird.
Yeah,
I looked it up, not too much, but it was cool that Haro added that to his story. And overall, yeah, really nice chapter. And also read that, and at the end of the chapter's note, the editors they leave from there was next chapter we will get the reactions, so that's confirmed.
Oh, I actually
Just,
didn't see that.
yeah, someone on Reddit, I think, translated it, and this was, yeah, we will get reactions around China, and yeah, that's pretty exciting to see
Dope.
how Chu and Zhao and all the states will respond, and yeah, good chapter overall.
yeah. So yeah, same like basically same thing. I really like the just the atmosphere of the situation, just like how everybody's just standing waiting to see who the sixth person is. You know, say we had a bunch of speculation as to who the sixth was gonna be, and then for Say to be like, yeah, nah, we just leaving that vacant. Nobody's qualified as of yet. It was great to hear. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was great because like that shut down all the hecky nonsense that had been brewing for a little while.
See, it's
But
interesting because when I was reading the spoilers, I was like, all right, that's kind of sucks because why would you build it up like that just to be like, oh yeah, there's no sixth spot. But I guess it ended up working out because they actually talked about it and it actually
right,
like naturally delved into what the conversation was overall. So I didn't mind it, I guess.
as to why
Yeah,
like six were needed, because we always talked about that before. It was like, why not like have seven great generals? It's like if Dukio had accepted, would they have made seven, or would Kyo have not been the sixth? You know what I'm saying? Like there's things we always talked about, but according to like this, it was like, nah, even if the Duke accepted, I don't think they would have made him quote unquote a sixth great general. He might have just, well, I guess he was already a great general. So I don't know how that would have went with Duke, but
And the funny thing
yeah,
is that pretty much, well, me and like everyone I talked to, pretty much they all agreed that it could be 7 or 8. So I guess we were just too smooth brained. We were only thinking on Conky's level. We didn't think on that Shohaken or
yeah.
Osen level. We weren't
yeah,
we weren't that advanced.
I
yeah,
always thought
because
five is we know there's 6 generals because of 6 states,
Yeah,
and
that's pretty much what
basically,
I assume too.
key is like, I mean, they are pretty much in an alliance right now, so I thought 5 for now is fine, but I don't know really how that works. They will not all generals will attack each state, so yeah, 6 seems about right. Because even on the numbers, yeah, if we assume every great general has like 100k, that's like, I think they will have all 100k soldiers. Does
It's already at half a mil.
does Kin even have that
I mean,
many? I mean, I know they're recruiting people. It was said like, say when he told Shin and investing in the military and all that stuff, but there's a lot of soldiers.
A
But
lot of
yeah,
I mean,
soldiers.
it's a lot of soldiers, but
with
this works for China. Cause they even back in the day, they was historically having billions of people. Like you know what I'm saying, high in the millions. So it's like hundreds of millions of people. They have a lot of land. You know what I'm saying? And Quinn has a lot of that land. So it's like them being able, because like didn't Renpon and them say like, yeah, back in the day we used to hold millions of lives in our hands. Like I'm assuming that's all together. Like you know what I'm saying, Quinn had 500k, Zhao had put up another 500k, but it wouldn't be too far fetched to say like Oki pulled up with him like 700,000 to like a really crazy battle.
oh, that's kind of wild.
Yeah, maybe Oki with
700,000.
like other 6Gs under him or something.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's I mean, I'm not saying like his personal army, but I'm saying like kind of like how Osen pulled up with 200,000, but it wasn't all his. You know what I'm saying, it was his war, but it wasn't all his army. I'm saying like
Yeah.
they could have did shit like that.
You mean like Reebok in the coalition, or I mean, he wasn't technically the supreme commander, and but maybe something like that. Like, how many soldiers did the coalition have? 600,000 or even more?
Something like
What?
that.
I think it
Yeah,
was around there, yeah.
Yes.
it's
He
just
put.
like we already know that Mobile has more than 100k though.
Yeah,
Mobile's sitting on 180k
but he's
right now.
also fighting against the biggest state. Like you don't need 100,000 against Wei or Han.
True. I don't even think they have anybody at Han. And shit. Speaking of Han, like remember my prediction about it being Osen that or like Conky that takes out Han, like while we on this break with Wei.
Yeah.
Like I'm fully confident now that it's gonna be Toe. He's gonna conquer Han and then he's gonna return his wing. Like, yeah, I've done my service.
Nah, I just think the vibe Toll gives off this chapter. I don't think he's retiring. I always thought he's the one that, as the only one that could be retiring. When he sees Moten, Shin, and them, when they're already reaching that level. But I don't
That's what
know.
I'm saying. Toe is gonna conquer Han, but he's gonna use the monster trio to do it. Like it's gonna be just like a repeat of Chohei, but on a much bigger scale, right? And that's gonna be his crazy feat. Cho was the supreme commander that conquered that conquered Han, right? But during that conquering of Han, like the monster trio are gonna develop and grow to where he's confident that any one of them could take his spot. Or and you know what I'm saying, take his spot and fill the missing role. You know what I'm saying? And then we just gotta wait for Shin to catch up to Moten and Ohon because that's most likely how it's gonna go.
Yeah, it is
You know
kind
what
of
I'm saying?
cliche, but
Like
I forgot to mention it in like the review section that I like how it ended up with the one spot. It perfectly leaves it up for the monster trio to fight
Yeah,
with each other
exactly.
for it. It's
fight for
cliche, but it's good. It's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
The
let's
panel,
go ahead.
the panel, the panel where we see all 3 of them. Like, that was my favorite panel of the chapter. Like, the dialogue said something like, "A new 6 reborn," or that was my favorite. I really liked they looked much older and mature in that panel, you know, and I really liked it.
Hmm. Let's delve into Toe's motivations real quick. So, this is something I always questioned where if he really cared about unifying like Oki did, or maybe, he just happened to run into Oki. He was good at warfare like Oki, and this is a way to just chill with him. So he's like, fuck it, I'll just go along with you and do all this. So, like, we didn't really know what exactly Toa's motivations were up until this point. But we just know like after he's like, all right, since Oki died, I'm gonna do this for him. I'm gonna like see his dream through and all that shit. So basically, this
Inheriting the
chapter
will
to
and
me,
shit.
it kind of confirmed that he does have some like patriotism to him. I think he might like this might confirm that he actually cared about Kin, and you know he fought for like he met Oki wanting to fight for the same reasons that Oki did. Because the way like he was so adamant, like he's like, we'll personally cut you down. Like I don't know, because it like look at Riboku for example. Because one thing you could say is, well, if they're doing this, then they're kind of ruining Oki's dream. So maybe To's taking that personally. But Riboku, for example, he ruined Oki's dream by killing him. So and To never took that personally. When Riboku came to chat with Ryofui, he's not like, you're the one that killed Oki, so fuck you. Like he was just chilling because he can think more complexity than that. He can just like realize that it's not about Oki personally. It's just someone in his way, and Riboku's just doing his duty as a person of Zao. So in this situation, he could probably see it like that too, where he's not gonna like blame them and like try to fit it to where they're doing this to and like backstabbing Oki's like they're after their own prerogative, whatever. So the fact that he's still taking it personally, to me, it shows like it reeks of patriotism. What do you guys think?
I don't know if it's patriotism so much in Quinn as it is in Sei. Like I like how told Roku on me, like Oki truly believed in Sei. He fully like had intentions on conquering China with Sei. I think To took that to heart. And since Oki died and he's like, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna fulfill that will, I'm gonna fulfill that role until like, you know what I'm saying, because I do believe that he believes in the new generation. So I feel like To himself is just like, until they show that they can fill that role, I'm gonna be here to obtain, you know what I'm saying, to obtain that, not obtain, but to uphold that like legacy that Oki put up. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like if everything were to go to shit right after Oki died and like they just lost everything, it would be it would look bad on Oki. You know what I'm saying? Like it would just look bad on his lord. So it's like he's holding up this level of honor and this level of prestige to, how do you say it, to just be a symbol. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you know how like back in the like early kingdom, they always talked about these great generals being heroes and being these people that people admired and looked up to, whether it be friend or foe. It's like you still have respect for these people, and like that's what he's trying to uphold, the like traditions of an old general. Because mind you, he said that shit right after niggas came down on Conky about massacring people, which is not something that like most of the Quinn Six did. Is at least civilians. I know Hakuki did the whole Chohei thing, but they were combatants. You know what I'm saying? Like surrendered, but they were combatants. And the betrayal thing, and it's like, nah, if Oki had enough faith in Issei to work with him and work for him, then To is gonna have enough faith in Issei to work with him and work for him, so he won't let any harm come to Issei. So I think that's what it was more like. It was more about speaking to the questions and the problems with Osen and Conky than To's patriotism.
Okay, yeah, that's a fair point. And when you say that To is doing this because Oki had faith in Sei, are you saying that's the extent of it, or he actually knows more about the relationship and that whole, moment with Oki pledging to Sei and shit?
Nah, I feel like that, like he knows what was up because like To was, you know what I'm saying, there from the olden days. He knows that whole personal, the king has to, you know what I'm saying, indict me as the commander. He know that was bullshit. So he, like, you know what I'm saying, like, I'm pretty sure To put two and two together. He's having a conversation with this young man. You know what I'm saying? Like, whether he knows all the deep intricacies of Kyo and all of that, I'm pretty sure he knows a lot of it. Whether or not she was King Sho's daughter, I don't think that was any relevant. Like, I don't think that was relevant to To in any way. So he might not know about that. But, like, Issei and Oki's relationship and, like, how he viewed Issei, yeah, To was fully aware of that.
You all
Yeah, I
think
agree.
that Thor would actually serve under, let's say, a foolish king, like the old Chin King, or is it
Nope.
specifically that Sei, or doesn't he really care who's in command?
Yeah.
Was that the
No,
main
it
the
specifically
main
said.
factor?
Because it was Sei that made Oki tell like to give up King Sho's dying message. You know what I'm saying? Oki didn't give that message to Sei's father because he didn't deem him worthy. So if this was Sei's father trying to do this shit, no, Toe probably wouldn't be down. Toe would probably still be retired, and Oki would be retired. You know what I'm saying? Like, they only came back to the war because of Hoken and because of the light he saw in Sei. You know what I'm saying? Without those two factors, Oki and Toe remain retired, and they just training.
Well, another interesting point to bring up is they believe in Sei, and they obviously, like, they think highly of Sei, but Sei, like, the type of person Sei is also needed to unify China. That's been reinforced. So I'm just thinking in another scenario, like, let's say Sei dies, and maybe it's like an unworthy king, but at that point, unification is still possible with Toe's help. Is he still doing it to complete Oki's dream?
At that point, I think when I'm so deep in it, you can't just
yeah, I was about to say
pull back.
You can't just turn back.
Yeah, at that point, you can't really turn back, especially with like the manga reinforcing all the bloodshed needed to get there.
I was about to say, like, what you just brought up, bro, like, real shit, is the whole point of Gyoum's dying message about the sword that complete, like, the sword that's on a killing stroke must complete its downward stroke. Like, that was the whole thing. Like, no matter what bullshit might come, if you start this shit, you must complete it. You cannot stop midway for any random, well, the king that I trusted died, so let's just give it all up. Nah, you killed too many people up until this point to just give it all up now. So yeah, even if Sei were to die, they would they would have to continue this. Like, if not for nothing else but Sei's memory, they would have to complete the unification.
Yeah, and Oki's, of course, but yeah, that goes without saying. But yeah, the Conky shit, man. Conky's just such a beast, man. It doesn't matter what the situation is. even in this big of a situation, Sei's the one talking to them. He doesn't give a fuck, bro. And it's crazy because I'm wondering if he does he know what Osun's true intentions are? Because if he doesn't,
he
and
knows
he's like,
what everybody else knows.
Yeah, because that's what I'm thinking. Like, it's one thing if he knows that Osun doesn't really plan to like go away and, you know, join another state or make his own state. It's one thing if he does if he knows that he's not going to do that, so he's like, I can poke fun at that because I know it's not going to come to bite you in the ass. But if he doesn't know that and he's still bringing it up in front of everyone, like, that's some ballsy
Conky,
shit.
Yeah, now Conky has balls. Conky has balls, and that's why Osun's face ever since that shit, like, he didn't have a smile on, but he had a noticeable frown ever since that shit was brought up.
Yeah, that little speech.
You know what I'm saying?
He was thinking.
And come on. But this is what I've been saying from the beginning, right? From the beginning. Osun is way too calculated to let his true intentions be known so openly by everyone. That makes no sense. The fact that everybody and their grandmother knows that this man has aspirations of being a king has to be a setup for something.
Yeah, either that or like the only thing I can think of is maybe he trusted Oki. He's like, all right, I'm the main leader of this family. As someone who's also part of the old family, I can entrust this information to you. And then Oki backstabbed him and pretty much gave it away. And he's like, damn, you betrayed the old family. And then that might lead to like why Osun and Oki had conflict, if they did have conflict, because that's kind of implied. You can argue.
I don't think Oki would do something like that. Doesn't even care.
So many opportunities. My fault for cutting you off, bro. My fault.
No, it's all good. I just wanted to say that I don't think that Oki would lose something like that. I don't.
Well, I don't know, because if he never implied to Osun that he'd keep secrets, like, no matter the condition, then, like, you know, he doesn't have any loyalty to him. He never promised any loyalty to him. Like, you know, like, if he wants to do that, then that's on him.
All I'm gonna say is, well, not all I'm gonna say, but another thing I'm gonna say is, Osun has had many opportunities to take out much weaker kings. Sei's father, Sei's grandfather. You know what I'm saying? There's been two kings in between King Sho and Sei. So
only
it's
one,
like,
oder?
Huh?
Only one. It wasn't
two.
Only Sei's dad?
King Sho is Sei's great grandfather, not his grandfather.
Okay. Gotcha.
So, you know what I'm saying? So King Sho's son is Sei's grandfather. You know what I'm saying? Sei's father was one of his 7 sons that became king. So there was literally 2 weak-ass kings in between King Sho and Issei, and this nigga Osun made no type of political moves to make any advancements towards his kingship. But the rumors of him wanting to be a king has been spreading since then. You know what I'm saying? He's already the leader of, from what we know, the most influential fucking family in fucking Quinn. You know what I'm saying? I don't think like I think the only other family that's as rich as them is Moten's family. You know what I'm saying? And the royalty, but like as far as like just lords and nobles, I think the O family is the richest and the like highest of nobles. So it's like, what more can he really gain? He has land, he has money, he has vassals. He's just building an army. Why? Because like the people before him, he dreams of a unified country. And people that dream of that shit, people that like really aspire for that shit, they view that shit in the present tense. So when he speaks of his country, my kingdom, yes, he's speaking of a new kingdom that's not him. Because in his mind, this shit is already unified.
Do you think that his wife dying has something to do like with that, or did he have those intentions even before?
I think his wife dying made him more focused. Like his wife dying showed him how like short life is, and that's what made him so cautious on the battlefield. While he'll never risk his life on the battlefield, because everything you aspire, everything you hope for can be in. Like I don't think Osen believes in the inheriting will shit. Like he doesn't believe in the light of people. Like I die and my son's gonna pick up my will and carry that shit. He don't believe in that. So he believes like when I die, this is it. So I have to be as cautious and as protective with my life as possible, so that I can do the things that I see in my head, so I can make that shit a possibility. I'm saying, so I can make that a reality.
To answer your question, Zeth, I guess I don't know what to call you still.
Yeah,
But
yes, alright.
yeah, that's fine, I guess. But yeah, to answer your question, I think since Ohan, for example, he was always painted as someone who had like some deep appreciation for being born into a noble family. And even Osen is like a step above him. Like he's like, you don't appreciate your position enough. You're putting yourself in danger. Like I think he was just always in this mindset, or like at a very young age, he was granted with this mindset that he's like he owes something. Like he's in such a good position, and it's like his duty to like do great things and to bring glory to the family. So maybe it's like something to do with morality as well. It probably tied into that eventually, but I feel like he always had this mindset where it's this is his duty. He needs to bring honor and glory to his family, and then maybe to China in general. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I just
I do love your
you all
Tama too.
remember that panel when Kyo was introduced? Actually, not introduced. Young Kyo in Oki's army, and there's like someone in the back and has like a mask that just looks like Osen's.
Yeah, I remember that panel.
You think it was just random, or maybe he was even part of Kyo's or Oki's army at one point?
Probably random. It would be pretty funny if it was him. Pretty random, but it's like a cool tidbit, I guess.
Yeah,
I mean, it could be him. It depends on how old he is.
I just thought it was weird just to give a random character such a unique design. Like, I don't know. Just I've seen that panel a lot, like on Reddit and Discord.
Of course, the panel that they post like 200 times on Reddit.
Yeah.
But yeah. So the Conky shit, we pretty much agree. That's all great. Him when when they just brought up the thing with torturing people. He's like, hey, why are you looking at me? Like I said, Conky has balls and he likes to fuck around. I just really like his attitude.
So exactly
Yeah.
why I'm looking at you.
He's one of the more well done troll characters I've seen. I don't know if I can think of someone who's better at trolling than Conky in manga. Yeah, I don't know. Mainu's a pretty good one too.
Conky's. I was about to say Hisoka, but Hisoka's not really a troll.
Oki and Rampa also was pretty good.
That's true. Though there's like, yeah, there's just kind of different, but they're up there. I was thinking of Joker, but of course he's not a manga character.
There's this one character in Toriko, this old man. He's also pretty cool. I don't know his name.
Is it Ichiryu?
Yeah, I think he was he was also playing around like. But
yeah,
I
he was decent.
Read Toriko years ago.
Yeah, I've read Toriko. It's been a while for me too.
I also like just not anymore, but Garb back in the for time skip. He was always goofing around with Sengoku.
Yeah, I like
That's
Garp.
also that was pretty cool. But yeah, Kanki is definitely one of the best. Like it's just every time he's on screen, he's just stealing the show. Whatever he does, whatever he says, just
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Twilight, let me ask you this: do you hold it as a knock against Conky that he didn't realize that 6 is the perfect amount? You might have had the fucking the headphone thing where we can't hear you. Are you good now?
Oh shit.
Oh yeah, we can hear you now.
Wait. Can you hear me? All
Yep.
right. So nah, I don't take it as a knock because honestly, I think the whole why not have 7 or 8. I just think that was Conky being sarcastic. Like I don't think Conky was asking that as a legit question as to well, if we're just waiting for 6, why not we just make 7 or 8? Like I don't think like I just think he was just legit bullshitting, and that's why
Yeah.
Shabunkin was like, "Yo, like mind your man is like know your place" type shit because it was like nigga, it was obviously him trolling. And but like him asking Osen is like everybody was like, all right, what does Osen think? And it's like, I don't know. For some reason, it's like, yo, if Osen said, yeah, we need 7 or 8, then people would be like, oh yeah, he's definitely trying to conquer. He's trying to gather more people to overthrow and take over. Say, but it's like because he agreed, it was like, all right. And then because it was a panel legit of just yo Tonwa, Toe, and I think Mobile waiting for Osen's response, and it was like, why? Like, why does it matter what Osen thinks about the number of greats? Even though the explanation they gave wasn't one that I thought of.
Well, it was more so them reacting to his response. It was the panel like after he explained. To me, I mean, I don't know. The fact that Osen answered him seriously, I don't think Osen would do that if he thinks Conky's trolling. And yeah, I don't know. It doesn't seem like a situation where he'd be trolling to me. I guess you could think of it that way, but it's kind of hard to say. To me, I just took it as it really depends. It's kind of like the Shuaiken situation where he came up with a plan to conquer China back during the coalition. It's something where these little things that Osen is talking about, it's unless you have like the battlefield mapped out for how it's gonna go, it could be kind of hard to realize how quickly they'll add up and how big of a difference they'll make. And I think that's something that Kanki didn't take into account, and Osen and Shuaiken did.
Okay, so my thoughts on that is like, because basically what you're asking is like, does Conky see the whole board? Like, does he see the whole unification plan? And I'm gonna say that he has the potential, but he never gave it a thought because he didn't think it was actually gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Like in his mind, like he like when him and Shin were talking, he was like, "Yo, Shin's bugging. This shit's not about to happen. We just, you know what I'm saying? We just having war. War is war, but we not about to actually unify China. That's not what we about to do." So when he heard that shit in the meeting, and he was like, "Oh shit, that idiot was really so he was I bet we on some shit now." So now he's thinking about it, and like you know what I'm saying, but like yeah, I don't think like I said, it's not a knock to me. It's just he never really put that much thought into it until now, and for exposition purposes and for like us the reader, they just had to like explain it. It would have been
See,
really weird coming from any other characters because for one, Toe is the most experienced. Mobile don't give a fuck about strategy, and it would have kind of been for the same reasons why you're asking. Is it like belittling Conky? It would have been belittling Yotangwa, who's again a ruler in her own right, so she should understand these complexities and these shits more than Conky. You know what I'm saying?
well, here's the thing. I had this exact same conversation with Draco. Because the second I read over this Conky shit, I went to Draco like, was good. But my retort to the whole he didn't think about it because he wasn't expecting the unification thing is regardless if he thinks they're gonna conquer all of China, he thinks that they're gonna conquer a good chunk of it. So regardless, he should be playing the scenarios in his head to what's the best scenarios to conquer the most land because this is something he cares about. He likes to have war
No,
and he likes to have gold.
but that's the thing though. Conky's war doesn't revolve around the land or the territory. It revolves around his opponent.
No, but conquering more land and territory gives him more opponents.
No, right. But what I'm saying is when like, from how I view Conky and his like preparation. Conky doesn't go into a battlefield like, okay, I'm in the woods, so I'm gonna utilize, you know what I'm saying, these type of sneak attacks, this type of terrain. No, Conky is like, okay, who am I fighting? Oh, I'm fighting Kesha. All right, how does Kesha fight? Oh, Kesha's the sleeping tiger. I mean, the sleeping spider. He's a hunter type. Oh, I bet. So I'm gonna give him some prey and just let him. I'm gonna give him bait. Oh, he took the bait. I bet. Let me pounce on it. How does Kisui fight? Oh, Kisui got this thing with his city. Let me attack that. Conky doesn't attack the battlefield. He attacks the person. So for
Well,
Conky, he wouldn't give a fuck about where we're going to attack, what city. It doesn't matter to him because in his mind, that shit doesn't matter. I'm gonna take the city. Who am I taking the city from is what matters to Conky.
well, here's the thing. The oil example with Coalition, where ahead of time he brought out the oil, that does show that he's not someone that just likes to challenge himself in the moment. He does think ahead and prepare ahead. I'm not saying that necessarily correlates to the opposite of what you were saying, but I think it would be pretty foolish for a strategist of Conky's level to not at least take both into account, because if he's coming up with calculations before the battle, it could lead to something that could make him win the battle even more than he did before, like saving more men and whatnot. And that's pretty much what Conky wants to do, because he has a bandit army, a pretty unique army. He wants to save as much men as possible. So,
Right.
well, that might not be like his best focus. I don't think, for example, like he has all this time in his hands and he's like, I'm not going to think about the future and how I can take this much land or like conquer this much land and it'll lead me to facing these many battles. Like, I feel like that's something he thinks about. I mean, there's a lot of hours in the day. He probably thinks about that. And yeah, I'm not saying that that's his main thing, of course. But I do think it's something he thinks about.
Whatever portion of that goes into his strategies is handled by Maron.
I mean, Maron kind of trash, bro.
No, but I'm saying, but that's the whole point. Maron is trash, but Maron is good enough to analyze battlefields, tactics, the surroundings. That's like I'm saying, like all the little details that you're talking about. That's Maron's district. Maron is the one that when Shin and them came, Maron give them the plan. Maron gave them the plan. They initiated the plan, and then he did what he did based on the intel of the people he was fighting. You know what I'm saying? So like, while I'm saying that, like, not that it's not a part of his overall warfare, I'm saying Conky himself specifically does not dedicate any time to that himself. All Conky cares about is who he's fighting. He can care less about where, because that's Maron's. Maron will handle where. Zeno and Vital will handle the actual fighting. I'm gonna mindfuck whoever the enemy commander is. That's my job.
See, if that's the case, I feel like that could be a pretty big weakness. And that's funny that we're talking about this, because that might actually be Conky's weakness if that's the case. If he's like, for example, Conky against Riboku, Kin versus Zhao, he's trying to lead a huge Zhao invasion. Like, I could see Riboku taking advantage of that.
I do think that is Conky's weakness. He plays the enemy, not the battlefield. So if Conky thinks, for instance, right, if Conky goes into a battle and after a couple skirmishes, he fully believes he's fighting Kocho, right? Fully believes that. But then at a drop of a dime, Riboku comes in. And now everything is switched up. With like you're saying, we saw when it happened with Kisui and Kesha that Kisui's men was able to just dominate Conky's men. You know what I'm saying? Yes, Conky pulled them back so he didn't lose as many men as you know what I'm saying he was going to, but in a larger battle, in like an open plains battle, who knows if he's able to get that successful dip? You know what I'm saying? Like, who knows if he's able to pull that retreat off? So yeah, that could be a weakness that will be exploited. It's like, yeah, my nigga, you think you're fighting this person, you use all your mind tricks to get at this person, but you're really fighting this person. So everything that you just did, none of it worked. You think it worked, but in actuality, you falling deeper into the overall scheme of, like you said, say Riboku.
Yeah, and just like even the terrain in general, like if he's put in a situation where Riboku shows up and he has to come up with plans on the fly, like you can still come up with good plans, but against Riboku, who's probably smarter and he's had a lot of time to concoct this exact scenario, like that's kind of tough.
I ain't gonna hold you. I feel like Conky would dip. Conky would leave his men before he thought of, like, if he was put in that situation, he would dip and leave his men before he came up with a battlefield to get everybody out.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Conky, if that's what he needs to do, he's gonna do it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Conky, exactly what you just said. Whatever Conky needs to do, Conky's gonna do it, and that is a weakness for an army. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you're like, yes, generals are supposed to be arrogant and cocky and confident and on a level selfish. But if your general is so selfish that he will literally abandon you for his own safety, like just straight up abandon you, not leave you any retreating orders, not like give you any like fallback plan, just straight up you turn the look and Conky's gone, which I can see him doing. You know what I'm saying? That if he has 100,000 army, that shit is getting wiped out. You know what I'm saying? Like a good portion of that is getting wiped out.
Mm.
One thing I want to say back to your point with taking land. I think with Kanki, his main thing is he likes to do things that people dislike, and of course, taking land and it's part of that. But maybe like in the long run, if you just keep doing the same repetitive thing, it's too boring for him. But now that he's a 60G, he can basically do whatever he wants. Like it will never get boring for him. So he can basically attack what state he wants, which enemy he wants.
Depends.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that. I'm truly looking forward to seeing how that plays out. Like, do they all just break from Kanyo and he's like, yo, I'm about to go attack Wei? Like, nah, we got alliance with Wei. I'm about to go attack Han. Anybody want to join me? Nah, Han's weak. You got that.
That would be pretty funny.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? They're like, yeah, we'll cover Chu though. You know what I'm saying? Because like they share a border. So it's like, while you attacking Han, we'll cover the border with Chu. You know what I'm saying? We got your back. Because ain't that like what they discussed? Like the whole point, not the whole point, but like part of the point is that like while they're able to do whatever they need to do, they also have each other. Like they can also rely on each other and support each other. So it's like if you get intel that Raboku's about to pull another Oki, you know what I'm saying? Like you can intercept that shit. You don't need to wait for orders. You can just go. You know what I'm saying? Like that will be beneficial.
Yeah. And one last thing, we'll talk about Aiko for a bit, and then we'll end it. Do you guys think he wasn't nominated because he wasn't good enough, or because he's under Osen?
Like I said, because he's under Osen.
Yeah, I think the Rokomi and Teki was pretty much just a troll. Like I didn't take that shit really serious. Like I saw some people arguing that Hara put them there because they are the next two best generals to become great generals.
They technically are.
But I mean, we all know that basically every commander in Osen's army is better than them. So
yeah, just the fact that we didn't go to Aiko, just for like a quick panel like we did with Heki and Rokuomi, that pretty much sold it to me. It was like the people that actually want to be there. You know, quick glance at them just to see their reaction as they're not getting in there.
I think the whole point that Osen made about why they can't have 7 or 8 is like because like then like the ranks at the bottom get too thin. I think it's something like that. It's like if you make Akko his own great general, now you take his army away from Osen. Not only does that weaken the Osen army, but like you giving Akko more men, who's gonna run Akko's unit? You know what I'm saying? Who's gonna do the things that Akko was doing on that smaller scale when he was with Osen? So it's like because you're elevating too many people, it's hard to keep those smaller ranks as well trained.
Yeah, so there needs to be a balance. Like you can't just have just top tiers and low tiers because you can't have the top tiers taking care of all the low tier problems. So you need the mid tiers to like, you know, command the low tiers and so on and so forth.
It's kind of like with Shin, right? It's like Shin is a general now, but he was struggling, but his infantry was struggling. And it's like you can't expect Shin to leave the HQ or get off of his horse because he's a cavalry leader. So you can't expect him to get out of HQ, get off his horse, and go handle every little problem at the infantry level. You know what I'm saying? Like you need people that is competent on that level to grow your army, to build your foundation. So it's something like that, but on a more macro level.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Great chapter, like we said. If you want to say something else, yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I don't know. Mobu didn't say a thing the whole chapter. Do you think that does have some meaning, or was it just? I mean, like everyone was at least saying something, and Mobile was the
Mobile
only
wants no
one.
parts of this.
Yeah,
Like
well,
Like
we didn't
the
really get
thing.
anyone's internal thought process. We just got how they reacting to what's actually being said.
Yeah.
So if we had like thoughts from everyone like inside their head, but not from Mobu, maybe then I'll think so. But I just think in this situation, he didn't have anything to add to the situation. I mean, we see his panel at the end. He has like a lot of veins on his forehead,
Yeah,
so I think it's pretty much like him getting pumped up. He's like, yeah, now shit's about to go down. Let's
I
do
was
this
about to
shit.
say, like Mobile, I like the way I'm looking at it. Mobile faded out as soon as they like was done calling his name. First great general. I mean, you're saying first Quinn six Mobile. After that, nothing mattered to him. I'm a Quinn six. I got the right to wage war how I see fit. Boom. Everything else was not a concern to him. Like you said, like when he said when he wanted the hearing in the beginning of Kingdom, he said, all I care about is proving that I'm the strongest and you know what I'm saying, like winning battles in war. I don't care about like fucking betrayal and shit like that. Like that's not me. I don't do that shit. And I don't fucking kill civilians. You know what I'm saying? Like everything that was brought up, it was irrelevant to Mobile. Mobile doesn't kill civilians. Mobile doesn't care about betrayal. You know what I'm saying? Like he would be the last person that would actually betray Shohekun. You know what I'm saying? And Shohekun is fully with Issei. So it was just irrelevant to him.
It would be funny if the second he got his name called, he completely phased everything out. Like he didn't even like listen to what they said. He's just thinking about I'm immediately gonna attack Chu. I'm gonna have Manu's head on a spike.
yeah.
We're doing this shit.
That would be funny as shit. Like, yo, I already know what I'm gonna do.
I,
I'm going
I would love to
Motherfuckers
see
Manu.
just
like
daydreaming and shit.
But I
Oh
did like
man.
how Yo Tom would backed up Toe and his whole it's like, yo, if anybody gets, you know what I'm saying, if anybody break, because there's only two rules, my nigga. Two rules: don't betray me, don't kill civilians. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just don't do those two things. If you cannot do those two things, nigga, you literally got it made. So it's like, yeah, if anybody breaks those two rules, we will definitely raise armies to destroy them. Whether or not that's actually going to happen against Osen, I don't know. But, you know,
I like how
we'll see.
nonchalant she is about everything. Like she expects you to have this like perfect set of ideals, and if you don't, she's like, "Well, I'm just gonna have to kill you then."
Pretty much, yeah. Like she told her people at the tent, my nigga,
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking
we
of.
got like we got two options. We can fight or we can run. If you think about running, I'm gonna kill you. We don't need you. But you know, if you want to fight, fight with all your heart. And that's, you know what I'm saying? That's how we get shit done. So
Pretty
like
much.
the last thing I want to speak about though is the whole like setup about the crane and the not the crane, the bird or whatever and the golden wings. Like I don't know why, but I found that to be highly like that hit for me. I don't know why. Just
yeah, me
the
too.
symbolism of him giving them like, yo, this is a wing of a divine bird. It was made at the old temple where we know like it actually has a spiritual connection because like the ancient ones was like talking to say during his crowning or whatever. So like we know in the kingdom world that shit like actually has powers. So whether let me say let not say powers, but we know that the spirits are real in kingdom. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that it was made there, the fact that it was a representation of the divine bird that what was it? The bird foretold Quinn, or like she swallowed the egg and then she got pregnant, and then that kid founded the Qin dynasty. Is that how it goes?
I think the Chimp people or something like that.
Okay, so yeah,
I don't know.
so with you know, I gotta reread, but I did like that whole setup, and then each of them getting a wing off of that, a feather off of that bird is just fire. That to me
Yeah,
was really dope.
that's something. It wasn't needed like in this chapter, but it was just a cool addition. I liked it.
Yeah,
Nothing too major. I didn't, but I liked what he said at the end. And once we conquer all of China, you will return these to me. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I personally didn't really care for it, but I could see why people would like it. You know, it's a kin tradition, and they're just honoring their ancestors. You know, it's a really say like thing to do, and it's just a cool little tidbit. You know, it shows
yeah,
the
yeah,
respect that they have for kin, and the fact that You say like he probably knows Conky doesn't really care about that type of shit or Osin, but he's like, you gon' respect kid, motherfuckers. You wearing this shit.
One friend of mine said like Kanki will just throw that shit like in
Yo,
the
you
woods
sold
or
it?
something.
Yeah.
Sold it.
But
Yo, he sold
Nah,
it, and
Conky
he's
got-
looking for like the
Conky got
cheapest
bread.
person to buy a replica from. So when he has to
Conky got
return it,
bread.
you know, he
don't
doesn't
need
get
to sell
fucked.
it. Come on, that'd be funny, dog. Like, he got bread, my nigga. Why you gotta sell it?
Yo,
Conky's a scumbag.
when Conky loses to Riboku and flees, he ends up selling that wing, and that's how he like he barters someone to help him get away. It's coming.
Nah.
the
Nah.
cheeking.
With Ordo.
Yo,
Oh yeah.
I was just thinking about that. Like, what happens if they die in battle? Like, do they tell their right hand man like, yo, if I die, man, you got to get this wing. You got to take it back to the king. Like, you got to get this. You got to
Kanki's
get this
dying
feather.
will. His last words.
His
He's
dying
like,
will.
Maron,
Right?
Maron,
Hey,
take
Mara,
this.
Mara, take this back to the king. All right, yo, we done. We talking about foolishness now. We done.
Hello, fellow intellectuals.